Yeah. Hey guys, Hansel here from Man United Bonafide. As always, as we say, this is the fun channel where we speak about everything Manchester United. Everything. And whether you're a Man United fan or not, you agree with me that at the moment there's so much to talk about Man United. There's always so much to talk about Man United. It's one of those topics that you never miss something to speak about. Anyway, before we dive into some of the topics we want to speak about today, if you've not subscribed, please subscribe, hit the subscribe button, like the content, and also put on that notification bell. Besides that, you can follow me at Hansel on both Instagram and Twitter. Most of my football discussions I do on Twitter. And so I'm hoping that you will join me on Twitter as we discuss football. Even on Facebook, I've been having some powerful and amazing discussions with a few of you, with whom we've managed to discuss a lot about the club. One of the people that I enjoy discussing matters football with is a long-term friend of mine called Thomas. Yeah, I really enjoy discussing football with you. The other one is Fadili. We do a lot of discussions. The other one is Gikunda. The other one is Mahare. Those are just to mention, but a few people that we discuss football with a lot. The other one, I enjoy banter with. He's a friend of mine called Victor Dali. With him, we also do a lot of banter, especially when United gets battered like we were battered over the weekend. He's always on my case, trolling me. And when Arsenal is beaten, I'm also always on his case. He likes calling Man United Zebra FC because of the new Zebra kit that we have, which I like. I like the Zebra kit. Most people don't, but I find it appealing to my especially when worn with the black shorts. I really love the kit. It's been a very tough period for Man United fans, especially from the moment the window was opened. Of course, we'll get to discuss further about things regarding the window. But just wanted to say it's not been an easy time for Man United fans. A lot of fans feel like the club has let us down once again during this window after making these huge promises, telling us this and that, telling us that they will do this, telling us that they will get that, and eventually all we get is scraps from the transfer. To begin with, allow me to do a recap of how last season was. Of course, it's just bits and pieces here. I want to do the whole season's recap. When we began the season, we began with a good win against Chelsea, a 4-0 win, I think, against Chelsea at Old Trafford. Things didn't go so well, and soon we were struggling to get form. And by the time, I think, I think by the time you were playing our third or fourth game, we were already out of top four. We were languishing, but by the end of as we headed towards December, we were, I think, eighth or ninth there. Yeah. This first of all was because number one, we had not a very good window transfer, where there are few areas we knew that we needed to strengthen, but we didn't strengthen. We knew that we needed a midfielder. We knew we needed Bruno to come in, whom did not come in. We knew we needed possibly a CDM to come in. There were talks. There are talks of Saul Niguez from Atletico Madrid coming. We knew we needed a right wing. There were talks of us scouting Sancho at that time. There are talks of us looking for a center back and even a right fullback. right-sided fullback. Out of these, I think we got a few, but the squad was still left very lean because we had released Herrera, we had released Fellaini, we had released Lukaku. Those are the three major ones that we had released, and none of these three that I've counted for you had been replaced by the time the season was beginning. By the time the season was heading towards December, the very lean team had been struck by some major injuries to key players like Martial, like Pogba. I'm not sure, but I think Luke Shaw also had a period of injury, a short one. Pogba tried to come back, Pogba had to go through double surgery, I remember. And also towards but by the time you were turning into towards, I think it was towards December, that Rashford also got injured in the Wolves game. I think was it in the FA Cup against Wolves? I think he got injured, and so that meant that even the leaner squad was already lean again. As we got into January, towards the end of January, we got Bruno. I think the club felt pressure from the fan base, and it was at that time the team was not doing so well, it was struggling. I remember we lost to Burnley just a week before we brought in Bruno. The weekend before we brought in Bruno, and when Bruno came, at least he put in fresh energy into the team, and that really helped the team to progress. And from the moment Bruno came, I think the next time we were losing a match was when we were beaten by Chelsea in the FA Cup. I think that's the next time we were losing a game. Why am I giving us a recap of this? I'm giving us a recap of this because sometimes we feel we forget that where our team is right now. Yeah, our team is not anywhere near what the squad City has, anywhere near the squad Liverpool has, anywhere near the squad Bayern has, anywhere near the squad Real Madrid has, anywhere near the squad PSG has, among other clubs. Yeah, and so it by the time this last season was ending, we knew exactly what needed to be done to the team, right? Every fan will tell you we needed at least 4, if not 5, signings for the team to not even to be able to compete for the Premier League for titles, but to narrow the gap between the top teams and our team. At the end of last season, you remember, by the time the season was ending, we finished third, and also we had 3 semi-finals, which to most of us we felt it was a failure, especially in the semi-finals. But having gotten third, we felt it was a mixed. It was a bag of mixed balls. Like a faction of us were feeling we've done a miracle, getting third place, and also getting to 3 semi-finals. There's a faction that was feeling we failed, especially we choked at the last minute in the Europa League against Sevilla, and that really hurt the fan base. Having done the analysis, we knew the areas that were needed to be strengthened. One of the key areas we needed to strengthen, and this was a must signing, was the right wing. We knew that the right wing, Mason had come in and been the best of the lot. We tried Mata there, didn't work very well. We tried we tried Lingard there, Pereira, Dalot didn't do so well. We tried the kid that we've loaned to Wolves, Werder Bremen, and so they didn't work. But when Mason came, in as much as he was not he's not an out and out winger, we were able to get goals and a few assists from there. the other reason why we needed to strengthen the right wing was because we knew that Aaron Wan-Bissaka was good defensively, and to me, it's still good defensively. But going forward, he wasn't the best, right? Aaron Wan-Bissaka was the exact opposite of who? Of Trent Alexander-Arnold, right? Arnold is so good going forward, but defensively, not very good. Wan-Bissaka on the other side, on the other hand, is very good defensively, but not good going forward. And so we needed to strengthen that position. The other position that we needed to strengthen, which most fans will agree with you, was that we needed to get a centre back. After the Chelsea game and the howlers that not even after the Chelsea game, I think it was the Bournemouth game. Remember Harry Maguire getting nutmegged, and De Gea being conceding from the near post. We knew that we needed a centre back. We needed a centre back not because at that moment we rated Harry Maguire as a complete flop, but because we knew that the partnership between Harry Maguire and Lindelof wasn't working. All right, Harry Maguire is tall, good in the air, good at carrying the ball, and I still know he's good because even in the Spurs game, I saw him trying to carry the ball forward a few times, but not quick. He's slow. His positioning is not very good. Yeah, and sometimes he tends to switch off and he does a few ridiculous things here and there. The other thing about Lindelof is the same. Lindelof is good at carrying the ball forward, but not quick. And the worst with Lindelof is that he's not good in the air and he's also not strong. Yes, he's not strong. And so we knew that a partner needed to be brought for either Harry Maguire or Victor Lindelof. We wanted to mold our defense around the example that was set by Ferguson, where we had Vidic, who was a warrior, who would put his head anywhere, who would fight for the ball. And then we had Ferdinand, who was fast, strong, and also good on the ball, right? And so with that, we knew we needed a centre back. The other position we needed to strengthen was the left-sided fullback. That is Luke Shaw's position. We need to strengthen not because Luke Shaw is a bad fullback. Let's get this right. But it's because when Luke Shaw got injured, you were left open once again. We tried Brandon Williams there, but unfortunately it didn't work so well. You remember the Sevilla game? He got caught out a few times. A number of times he got caught out. And to some extent, even the second goal, most of us would agree that he was to blame first before blaming the centre back regarding that goal. The reason why Brandon Williams has struggled in that position, as most of us have alluded, is that Brandon Williams is not a left back. He's naturally right-footed, meaning if he is to be a left back, he's at a disadvantage. Most of the time, you realize that he tends to use his right foot more on the left side of the defense, which can turn catastrophic in many games. All right. And so those are the most of us would have argued that those are some of the three areas we needed to strengthen. The other key area that we knew we needed to strengthen was to bring in another midfielder who would rival Paul Pogba and who? Bruno Fernandes. We were not bringing another midfielder because these two were bad footballers. As a matter of fact, these two are world-class footballers. But as the season progressed, we realized that these people were getting tired, and tired meaning their performance would drop. As intelligent as they are, as good on the ball as they were, their performance would drop. We noticed that as the season ended, performance dropped a lot. From these people, remember the Crystal, is it the Southampton game, the Chelsea game, Trying to remember these games. Please, if you can remember those games, please let me know in the comment section, and I'll respond to them. If you have a comment, something you want to ask, you can also let me know in the comment section, and I'll read out your comment. Apart from that, this has been my personal feeling that we highly and desperately needed to strengthen the central defensive midfield. One of the things that shocks me with our fan base is usually when I hear people saying Matic can do the job. Yes, arguably he may be better at that position than Fred or McTominay, but this is my argument. He's not what we need going forward. Arsenal have just signed Thomas Partey. Let me ask you a question, and you can respond in the comment section. In the top 5 leagues, let me say the top 4 clubs in those leagues, how many of those clubs do you think will take Matic as their CDM? If you can answer that and give me a team that can take Matic as their CDM, then you realize how desperate we need a CDM. We need a proper CDM that is quick, that is slow, that is able to think quick, that is able to break down plays. I hear people blaming Pogba and Bruno for a few defensive mistakes, which I agree with. I agree that as a team, collectively as a team, we need to defend better as a team. Yeah, but there are moments where I've seen teams that have proper CDMs like get better opportunities to win a game because the attacking midfielders know that there is someone behind that they can rely on, and that has carried those teams. Even when they are playing poorly, the CDM and the back four can suck in the pressure and allow the attacking players to keep going forward, right? So those are the 5 areas that we knew we needed to strengthen, right? You can argue, some would argue that we needed another goalkeeper, which was not necessary. In my opinion, it was not necessary. We needed another striker. Of course, we needed another striker, but it was not as urgent as the five positions that I've mentioned. Now, then after the season, the window opened. Then, as you know, with all windows, since I started supporting Man United, with all windows, Man United is always at the very center of those windows of almost every transfer. As a matter of fact, Man United is always leading the rumor mills, where people keep saying that, oh, Man United is linked to this. I remember last season we were linked to up to 100 players. 100 players. We were linked to 100 players. You get. And so, since the window ended last season, and let me say officially since we got Bruno, every Man United knew that the next signing would be a right wing. Why? Because number one, the club had romanticized the prospect of signing a right winger, and we all knew whom the club was scouting. The reason why sometimes it is hard for Man United in the transfers is because Man United news seems to leak and spread faster than a wildfire. By the time January was coming in, we knew that we needed and we had to sign who? To sign Sancho. You get? Yeah. At this moment, if you are watching, I've seen a few people watching. If you're watching and you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I really value your subscription so that the channel can grow. All right. Come the window. We were hopeful that we would get Sancho. We were hopeful that we would get you are hopeful that we'll get a few other coming in and a few other going out. On top of Ole's list was Sancho, Grealish, and the centre back, arguably an Upamecano, or the other guy from Monaco, whom I've forgotten his name. Sancho deal dragged, and Borussia, being smart, set a deadline that I think it was on the 10th August, that anything past 10th August will not be able to sign Sancho. Having said that, I don't think that deadline was very relevant even till now. And I don't think it is the reason why the deal collapsed. So the deal collapsing, I don't think Borussia are to blame. Yes, I'm not a Borussia fan, but I don't think Borussia are to blame. As a matter of fact, Borussia were very professional with this deal, set deadline, set their price tag, and said, this is what we want. It's all or nothing. Give us this or give us nothing. You get. And by the time the window was going, we kept hearing Man United had made a bid that was rejected. United was trying to structure the bid. Man United was trying to work on a structure. Man United this, Man United that, Man United that. Then all of a sudden things went quiet, and now the focus was more on signing a midfielder. We had been following Grealish a few times, just like Sancho. We had followed Grealish from January. I think we had followed Grealish from January. Yeah, but it didn't work. So when the window opened, we thought that we'll be getting who? We'll be getting Grealish as well. But then Aston Villa did a wild one on us again, overpricing the player. So the player was out of reach, because it would have been very hard for us to sign Sancho and Grealish and a centre back and maybe two other players. Fair play to the club. Fair play to the club. The Grealish deal was a weird one. Yeah. We couldn't have paid the 70, or the price range was rumored to be somewhere between 70 and 80 million, which was wild. It was just outrageous that Grealish from Aston Villa was being priced at 80. And so we started looking for alternatives, which that is one of the good things that I think the club did, in my opinion. I love Grealish, and I would still want Grealish to come to Man United, but not at the wrong price. Yeah. Secondly, Grealish didn't have a lot of experience in Europe, so pricing him at 18M was just outrageous for me. You get. And so we had to look for alternatives, and one of the alternatives was Donny van de Beek from Ajax, whom at the beginning of the window had been rumored that Man United, actually before the window ended, during lockdown. Yes, it was during lockdown, that because their season had been called off. There was rumors that Real Madrid and Man United were the front runners of signing the kid. And at that moment, we remember our top target was Grealish. And so kudos to Van der Sar. Kudos to Van der Sar, who played a key role on us getting Van de Beek, a player whom, if it was not for, first of all, if it was not for the pandemic, I don't really think we would have been able to compete with Real Madrid, because Real Madrid would definitely be his first choice. Who wouldn't want to go to a club that has won the league, has won a trophy? Did they win one or two trophies? I think they won 3 trophies last season. Not sure. If you know how many titles Madrid won last season, just add it in the comment section. And so it wasn't easy. It wouldn't have been easy for us if Madrid was still in. Yeah. But kudos to Van der Sar, who moved quickly in our favor, and before we knew it, Van de Beek was signed. It was possibly one of the quickest signings I've seen Man United do since we signed Ronaldo. And Ronaldo was signed in early mid 2000. I think it was 2004. You get, it was one of those quick. Evra's deal was quick, I think, but the quickest we've ever done. And so with Van de Beek, it was a similar situation. We were rumored that we were going for him. By morning, he had already been signed. Yeah. And so for a long time, we were stuck with Van de Beek. Season began, the window was still open. We were stuck with Van de Beek. One signing out of at least 5 that were needed. And the signing we had done was not necessarily a priority signing, because our priority signing was Sancho, a defensive midfielder, and some would argue between a CDM and a fullback. You get Van de Beek, good, but it was needed, but was not the priority. It was like the fifth in the list of priorities. You get? And so we continued like that, with that one signing till toward last week of the transfer. And this is why the fan base is going mad. The fan base is going mad. Why? Because the club had more than 10 weeks to do signings. The club had more than 10 weeks to do signings. While we are sleeping, feeling good, feeling rosy, doing everything. Let me not say. When the club, everyone is feeling pretty at the club, the board saying they will not be bullied by Borussia. Chelsea was signing players morning and evening. Within 3 weeks, Chelsea had signed, I think, five players. They signed players that they didn't even need and had to send them on loan. You get? At that moment, our rivals are strengthening. Liverpool, who are miles, I think over 30 points ahead of us when the season was ending, had strengthened. They had gotten Thiago. They had gotten another fullback. I keep forgetting the name. And they had gotten Jota. Look at City. City had bought 2 defenders. And he even bought a defender that we had scouted. Yeah, the Benfica guy. We had scouted him last summer, and instead, and I to date, I still feel that was always priority. But the club went for Harry Maguire, Brexit FC, as they are called, overpriced, overrated, outrageous players who don't even have proper conduct off the pitch. At the same time, during the window period, the off-field antiques by players was on another level. Harry Maguire being caught up in Greece is an issue. Before you knew it, Rashford had an injury. Before you knew it, Lindelof was fighting thieves on the street. Before you knew it, Mason Greenwood was having issues also off the pitch. There was also then before we even swallowed the Mason Greenwood issue, Pogba came down with COVID, and before Pogba came down with COVID, there was rumor that Wan-Bissaka also could have had COVID. Too many issues off the pitch, too much negativity, draining a very good season that we had ended at a very good position that we needed to pump into that positivity. All we needed to do was pump more positivity into that end of the season. But instead, the off pitch antiques, the negativity from the club, frustrating the fan base, and all was gone before we knew it. So when the season started, we started with that tired, because we had just ended the season having played severe. And then most of our players went for international break. And we had, I think, less than 5 days to prepare for the season. And I think Crystal Palace knew that. They came, really seriously thrashed us. You get? Our players looked tired, looked demotivated, looked out of place in every position that they in everything that they did. Looked disinterested in the game as well. Brighton also came and harassed us. Seriously harassed us. Seriously harassed us. Yeah, knocking hitting the post and the crossbar 5 times in one game. And we were wondering what is going on with the club. Too much negativity, off-pitch antiques, lack of investment. And after a few games, even the players themselves began admitting that strengthening needed, which was a surprise to us. Like, if players whom are playing for this club can see that we need strengthening, what is wrong with the board? Yeah, what is wrong with the board? What is wrong with the board that the board cannot see that strengthening is needed? Yeah, Luke Shaw came and said strengthening was needed, and at that moment, the Tellers deal had dragged for almost a month. We were wondering. We missed on Reguilon. Why? Because the club was not fair play to the club again. The club was not willing to include a buyback clause into that deal. That one I applaud the club. I was for that. If a player wants to come to Man United, they must want to come to Man United. We don't want players who don't want to play for the club, who are only coming either for money or seeing a club as a place for step up. If you're coming to the club, fair play to the club. That one, I think all fans are united against that. Real Madrid were not going to bully us into signing a player that they might come and take away from us after 2 or 3 seasons. Fair play to the club. Yeah. Someone is reminding me here. Let me just read this comment before I continue. Jikim Andy, welcome to Man United Bonafide. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Let me read your comment. His comment says, also West Ham. Yes, last season, as the season was ending, we had a terrible game against West Ham. West Ham harassed us. Yeah, we equalized. I think towards the end of the game, we managed to grab a goal. Yeah, we were harassed because the team was tired. You get, the team had so much to play for. The team, a lean team, a team that only had a good first 11 and a very terrible bench, was fighting for the Carabao Cup, fighting for the FA Cup. We fought for the FA Cup till the semi-final, where Chelsea also harassed us. We were also chasing the league and also fighting, trying to win Europa League with a squad only as good as its first 11, right? Yeah. As we were continuing with the transfer mess that was there, while, as I was saying, while our rivals were strengthening, even Leeds, a team that had just gotten promotion, was strengthening. Everton, getting Alan, getting Decore, getting Hamis. My goodness, how do we compete with that? Leicester, strengthening. Arsenal, of all teams, had bought a centre back that we wanted. Remember, we wanted Gabriel. Went to Arsenal. They've even bought Partey. Partey is gone to Arsenal. I tell you, it's been a mess of a transfer. We've made a mess out of this transfer, and I'll get to Ole, and I know it will bite. It will bite on Ole. I'll get to Ole and do an analysis of where to next for him, right? Yeah. While our rivals were strengthening, everyone was strengthening. Even our rivals in Europe were strengthening. Bayern Munich, Juventus, Atletico, Barcelona, PSG, I think, signed a few players as well. Who else signed players? We've even seen Aston Villa strengthening. They've gotten a few people from loan, who really helped us tear into Liverpool the other day. Yeah, my point is, while everyone else was strengthening, we were here start blaming COVID, or COVID this, or COVID that, or it is because of COVID. And there was even Tottenham strengthened. As a matter of fact, Chelsea have bought 6 players. Are they 6? Yes. Chelsea have gotten 6 players. Chelsea even gotten Vinicius, the striker from Benfica, whom we scouted. We scouted that kid in the last window. In January, we scouted him before we bought Igalo. You get why the club is a joke. Monitoring FC, negotiating FC. We are always monitoring situations. I don't know if we are the police. I don't know if we are the for countries that have municipality. I don't know if we are the municipality council officers who just keep monitoring things. Yeah, we are negotiating everything as if we are negotiating with terrorists, dragging negotiations, draining, life-sucking negotiations that you ask yourself, what is wrong with our club? And so the last week of the window, of course, during that period, we strengthened the academy. We released a few people to go on loan. When the window began, we released Sanchez. It was a good thing because we were trying to bring down the wage bill, which I'll speak about again later, much later. We had come to a position where it is the last day of the window transfer, the last week of the window transfer, and we needed to sign 4 players. If we couldn't sign 2 players, we couldn't sign 2 players. We only signed 1 player. One. Let me get closer to the camera. 1 player. 1 player out of 5 in 10 weeks. How are we going to sign 4 players in in less than a week? And so it was a mad rush. You hear rumors, Sancho, the deal is on, the club is willing to bid and not bidding. You're wondering, they are always willing to bid, but not bidding. The club is doing this, the club is doing that. The club has Sancho is a priority, but then the Dembele rumors even rubbed salt into the wound for our fan base, on our fan base, that we are now chasing Dembele. It's like the Sancho deal has been laid aside. Barcelona wanted to sign permanently. We wanted a loan deal, and so it was terrible. Imagine we couldn't get Sancho. We even couldn't get options to Sancho. Yeah, it was as bad as that. The center back issue, no one was speaking about. The fullback issue, Telles deal had gone quiet, only to resurface on the last day of the transfer. Yeah, and then on the last day, you hear Cavani, the club is monitoring Cavani. Before you know it, the club has signed Cavani, and we were all wondering, what is going on? We are spending almost 10 million on Cavani. If you add his wages for the next 1 year, of course, it said that it's a 2-year deal, a 1 year plus an option to extend, but still, you feel undone. You feel undone when during the lockdown, you would hear Edward saying the club would not make the same mistakes. The club has learned from the past mistakes where we signed players like Falcao, Di Maria, we signed players like Ibrahimovic, players who were done, who would not win you the league. Man United priority should always be winning the league. Yeah, you're signing players who are arguably not wanted in other clubs, or were running away from issues from other clubs, only seeing Man United as a step, next step, as a stepping stone. The board promised us that was done and it will not be done again, only for us to see Cavani. I'm not a keen follower of Cavani. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of PSG. Possibly that's why I've not watched Cavani, but I know he was a top striker in his days. Yeah. But my biggest concern is this: he's a player that PSG has released. You get it means he's not needed at PSG. Secondly, is above 30. Always profiling players, we know that it is young. The players to be young, the players to be hungry, the players to want to play for Man United, the players to desire to the player needs to see Man United as the next step. I wonder if any of that applies to Cavani. All right. Now, the Cavani deal done. Now we are waiting. Will the club do Sancho? The club do Sancho. 12 hours. Okay, 24 hours, 12 hours, 8 hours. We are waiting. 8 hours to go, 6 hours, 3 hours. You hear we've signed Traore. You almost get excited, but then you look at Traore, you realize that the kid is 18 and has only played 3 games for the first team at Atalanta, and what's more, he's never started any game for Atalanta. You get, and then we say, okay, he's a kid. He can come, we can nurture him. But then you hear that we can't get him till January, and you're like, what is going on? We've signed a player, a right winger, whom we can't get till January. Yeah. Are we even seriously thinking of the things we do before we do them? The kid wanted to go to Parma. Parma couldn't afford him. I don't know why. I assume Parma couldn't afford him. Yeah. So the deal was off. Actually, I was reading the night before. I was reading Traore deal to on Twitter. Traore deal to Parma is off. And something in me kept telling me Man United will go for this player. And before morning, it was announced that negotiations are advanced. We had tried to sign this kid earlier, but not Parma, but Atalanta refused to give us the kid. There were rumors that we were interested. Monitoring FC was interested in this kid, and so with that we get on the last day. The last day we hear that we are in for this kid, but then we can't get the kid. Yeah, we can't get the kid till January. You see how frustrating and life-sucking this window has been. Yeah. And so before we knew it, we hear that we are in for another kid from Uruguay. Facunda, I think it's called Facunda. I've forgotten his second name. A kid that has been playing in the Uruguayan league, of course. The only thing most of us know about that kid is from YouTube. Very few Man United fans have any knowledge of that kid. Personally, I don't know much about that kid. Of course, that does not mean he can't play ball. And some argue that when we signed Ronaldo, he was only 18, I think. Was he 18 or 19? But you remember when Ronaldo came in, do you remember our striking force? Our forwards, we had Giggs. Who? Experienced. We had Van Nistelrooy. Experienced. We had another winger whom I keep forgetting at that time. We had this Uruguayan, what's his name? Keep forgetting names. Yeah. I keep forgetting the name of the Uruguayan who played for Man United, who went to he played for Atletico as well, I think. Yeah. Let me just read a comment here by Rich Sports. Yeah. If you don't know Rich Sports, he's one of the guys we do videos with on his channel. You need to check out his channel. There's a video we did yesterday with him. Yeah, it's been a very annoying window, as they say. Yeah. It's not just annoying, it is life-sucking. It is life-sucking, so bad. Yeah. So this Fakunda kid comes in, and we hear the club is thinking of letting him go straight into the first team. How does he get into the first team? You ask yourself, how does he get into the first team? We missed out on Sancho, who would have come and slotted in directly into the first team. But then there's this kid that is coming, whom we know nothing about, and there was no hype around, there was nothing around, and we've signed. Yeah, we've signed him quickly to try and appease the fans, to try and make the fans think the club is moving forward. If the kid is for the future, then that's a good signing. But right now, we need something for both now and the future. And that was the profile that Sancho was coming with. Sancho was is 20 now, I think. A 20-year-old guy coming in, slotting into the first team, a player that we will have for at least the next 10 years. You get? And on the deadline day, we hear that Man United were willing to put in 120 million to sign Sancho, but Borussia said they would have rejected that bid. Begs the question: if Man United knew that Borussia would, what was the waiting for? Why keep us for over 10 weeks waiting only to get your bid rejected if you had the 120? You get why it's annoying? The Atalanta kid, whom we can't play till January, we bought him for I think it's about 20 or so million with 20 add-ons. So a total comes to about 40 million euros, which comes down to about 35 million pounds. You ask yourself, if the club had that money to pay for Traore, the 10 million for Fakunda, the 20 million that the club is giving what's his name? What's the name? What's the name of that kid? There's another kid we've signed. A total of almost 80 million we've spent on players that, as Rich Sport is saying, no one else wanted. No one else wanted. You get? You look at Dembele, we are rumored that we are in for Dembele. No one wanted Dembele. Even Barcelona themselves are trying to push Dembele out, saying, if you're to go on a permanent deal, not a loan deal that you will still need to come back. You get? Barcelona are trying to push out Dembele so that they can sign who? The guy from Lyon. Depay, the Dutch guy from Lyon, Depay, whom, remember, 2-3 seasons ago, we had released. That was not good enough. See why the fan base is frustrated. The club keeps spinning us. We are this we are this club, how do I call it? Should I call it 3-ring circus? A joke in every aspect. A joke in every aspect. You get? And so the window closes. The window closes. You think, at least we can go relax. It's done now. There's nothing we can do as a fan base apart from ranting and doing analysis here and there. Then you hear Cavani is being given the legendary number 7 shirt, and you're like, okay, what's going on here? First of all, I asked myself, if Cavani gets this shirt, how does Sancho feel? Even if there was still another chance, how does Sancho feel if he wanted to come to Man United and it had been rumored that he'd be given the legendary number 7 shirt, and then you see that same shirt has been given to Cavani? How do you feel as Sancho? We keep shooting ourselves in the leg, and the club, who keeps knocking down the fan base, is now even doing worse, running over the fan base. There are a few videos that I hear the club has reported to YouTube, and YouTube has pulled those videos down. and they had to bring back those videos because the fan base was on YouTube's case now. It's everything is going wrong at the club. Trevor seems to be agreeing with Rich, good one, Rich. Then there's a comment here. Trevor is saying, but all hope, but he's asking a question, but is all hope lost for Man United with the addition of Telles and Cavani? How can Ole use them to his advantage? I'll do a separate video on how to integrate the new players into the squad, because we recently had Van de Beek's agent complaining that the kid, what does the kid need to do for him to start matches? You get, which I think was an immature comment. The kid had just gotten here. He needs to take time to integrate, right? Yeah. I'll do a separate video. But I agree with you. All hope is not lost with the transfer. We've gotten two good players, arguably three. If you rate Cavani, arguably we've gotten three good signings. To me, Van de Beek is the best of the three. I've watched him at Ajax. I've watched him play for us, and I think he's a highly intelligent, if not a genius. He's a highly intelligent person, if not a genius to me. The way he plays, the way he sees things that people don't see, that was a good addition to the squad. The Telles deal, I've watched a few games Telles play. As I keep saying, I can't say I'm an expert that I've watched him match in, match out. But I've watched him a few times, and he looked good to me. He's good on dead balls. That includes corners, free kicks, and penalties. He's also good on crosses. People say that his defensive abilities are not very good, but we will see about that. Those three signings are good. Only that, what is frustrating the fan base? What is frustrating the fan base more is that a good percentage of these players were not our priority players. You get, we are getting we are getting players who other teams don't want, or who are second or third or fourth options. Those are the options we are getting. Like the Traore kid and the Fakunda kid. Those were not our first priority. Why is it that we can't get our priority signings? Yeah. Even Bruno, it is the fans who had to force the club to sign Bruno in January. The club was not willing to sign Bruno. Let me read another comment. Rich Sports is saying he thinks Telles is good. I agree with you. Telles is good for the few games I've watched him play. Is good, and also the YouTube compilations. That is always our fallback, right? Yeah. Trevor seems to agree with Rich on Telles. Rich says, Cavani, I have no idea. We might get lucky. If he stays fit, he might help Rashford and Greenwood develop. I agree with the fact that Cavani is experienced and will help Greenwood and Rashford develop. Will help Greenwood develop, and even other kids develop. It's not just Greenwood. But the way the signing was done, you'd think it was out of the blues. No one expected the signing to be done. Out of nowhere, we were signing this guy, a guy who, you remember in February when PSG was almost releasing him, the agent said that if he's to come to Man United, he would only be coming for money. Why are we going for players who only want to come to the club for money and not to bring anything positive to the team? I know his experience will be good to us. If he stays fit, as Rich has said, if he stays fit, it will be he is an amazing striker. You get, we'll give Martial some time to rest. He's way better than Igalo. That one I admit, way better than Igalo. As a matter of fact, I still wonder why we have Igalo. You get? Yeah. Esports says he agrees Van de Beek is a good addition. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Rich. Let me just see some of the topics that are lined up. Yeah, I'd even forgotten about the Regulon. Pamecano, we missed out on Pamecano. We missed out on Partey. I still wonder why we haven't gone for. I still wonder why we hadn't gone for Partey or Soumare. Arsenal had to raise money to activate Partey's release clause. What were we still doing? For 10 weeks, we had Partey. We could have gotten Partey. 50M release clause, which was a bargain for me for a player the quality of Partey. And the club didn't even get close to Partey. So we were rumored to get Soumare in January, I think. Not even close to going to Soumare. Yeah. If we couldn't get, you see now, if we had done the right signing, even if we didn't get Sancho, I don't think the fan base would have been as angry as the fan base is and feeling as disappointed as the fan base is feeling now. I've just seen my pastor and my friend Reverend Nyakeo watching. She's saying wow, wow. I don't know if that's a song. She's also a singer. If that's the latest song, we'll be singing wow, wow. That's my pastor. God bless you, pastor. Yeah. As I was speaking about the Regulon deal, as I say, the club, kudos on the club for that. There's no need of us having a player that can be taken away from us after 2 or 3 years. We need players that will be here 5, 7, 10 years to come. I know you never always get such, but you plan around the club, knowing that Ole has been trying to rebuild. We needed to do that. The player profile that we need is one that is young, hungry, and will be here for a while. Not one that will be here for a season or two and would have left us. I'll delve in much more into the Sancho deal. A few things that didn't worked against us for the Sancho deal was, number one, Dortmund stance. On Rich Sport yesterday, we were discussing the Sancho issue, and someone made a point that I had not considered before about Sancho. The person said that one of the reasons why it was very hard for us to sign Sancho is because of the statement that one of the directors at Bayern made, calling Borussia a club that is only good for buying players and selling them. And I think that stirred up Borussia's ego. Think of it logically. You are a bitter rival. It is only Man United that can be ridiculed by the bitter rivals and still does not do anything. But some of these clubs, when a bitter rival ridicules you, you automatically respond. And I think those are some of the reasons why Borussia made the stance that it is 120 or nothing. The other thing that didn't work for us, and this one I don't think many people have thought about. I was thinking about it the day before yesterday, that if this Sancho deal does not work, possibly it could be because of the secret deal that Borussia had with Sancho. First of all, I keep asking myself, what was the agent thinking? Making Sancho sign a secret deal. Like, what was he thinking? The kid knew that he wanted to leave. We had scouted the kid for almost a year or even more. Actually, we wanted the kid when he was leaving City, going to Borussia. You get? But the agent still sneaked and agreed with Borussia and with Sancho, and they signed that deal secretly. So we were here at Man United and everyone else, the whole world, thinking we are going to sign Sancho. He only has 2 years left on his contract. All of a sudden, we realize it's not 2 years, it's 3 years. There was an extension that has been done. And we were all like, hiya, Borussia is winning here. At that moment, most of us started feeling like Borussia is going to win this. It's either the club pays 120 or it's off. You get, so partly, it's not a huge reason, but partly what I would say about that deal that didn't work was the fact that Sancho's agent, I don't know whether it was greed, went and signed a new deal with Borussia, and so that's why we didn't get. The third reason, which is the biggest reason why we didn't get Sancho, is because of the board's incompetence. Yes, this needs to be drummed louder. It is because of the board's incompetence that we almost missed out on Bruno. It is because of the board's incompetence we are now missing out on Sancho. It is because of the board's incompetence that we missed out on who? On who? On Upamecano. It is because of the board's incompetence, always monitoring things, always negotiating where they are not supposed. We almost missed out on Telles. If it was not Telles pushing for the deal, most likely we would have missed out on that. Most of us expected Sancho to push for the deal, but at what cost? Yeah, at what cost? You get, the kid even tried, some believe that the kid even tried faking sickness so that he tried to show the club that I am here, come and get me. Too late. The door was shut in our face. The door was shut in our face. You get. And so we've missed out on Sancho, we missed out on Upamecano, we missed out on Gabriel, we've missed out on Thomas Partey, yeah. We missed out on Vinicius, the kid that has gone to Spurs. We missed out on Reguilon. We've moved from negotiating FC to missing out FC. And we missed out on almost every transfer, first, second, and third choice transfer that we were looking onto. We were rumored that we were looking at the kid that Barcelona signed for the fullback. We wouldn't have gotten him. The way we were operating, and thank God he went to Barcelona. We wouldn't have gotten him. You get. And so, let me read a few comments before I get to the next topic. Michael Wanyama, yeah, this is also one of my good friends that I've been discussing football with, a very intelligent analyst. If you look at some of the early videos, you'll see him. We analyze a few matches with him when the channel was just beginning. Yeah. His question is, do you think that most of our players have lost the winning mentality, and it's been over 3 years since we won a trophy? Partly I would say yes. Partly I would say it's the bigger blame is on the club. Yeah. Let me just adjust my sitting. Much better? No. Much better? Yeah. Partly we blame the club. Partly we blame the players. If you watch the Spurs game, you know that the players had a huge part to play. The players and the coaching staff had a huge part to play in that. You get. But you see now, you always need to keep refreshing the team. That is how you keep the winning mentality going. We see Bayern won the league, right? They won. So far, they've won 4 trophies, if not, they're 4. Yes, I think 4. They've won the Champions League, the league, the German Cup, I think, and the German Super Cup. Yeah, those are 4 trophies. But Bayern have signed, I think, 2 or 3 more players. A team that has just won the trophies. Liverpool won the league. They've signed 3 players. Three players. You get. City missed out on the league, won the Carabao Cup. They've signed, I don't know how many players, 3 or 4. Chelsea made it to top 4, signed 6, if not 7 players. And if the window had stayed longer, I think they would have signed 22 players. They would have signed 22 players. So the way to keep the winning mentality going, number one, is to have a proper structure. It starts from the top. We must change the top. The board has to be responsible. We need a director of football. I'll discuss that in the last topic. It has to start from up there, coming down. You get. The board needs to show the manager that he's backed. I know some of you may argue that the manager has been backed, but look at the players Ole is getting. Either a player that is only a prospect, or is a fringe player, or is not his first priority. Issues on and off. Look at the players Ole is getting his second, third choice, never getting his first choice. How do you keep a winning mentality with such a team? You get. Rich says finishing 4th to attract players, but then we won't pay what they cost. Very frustrating. I agree with you. When we finished in the 3rd place, when we finished 3rd and had gotten to 3 semi-finals, we knew areas we needed to strengthen. But still, the club didn't do what was expected for us to do. I agree with you. Very frustrating. Joseph Munyando, who is a Chelsea fan, he's also one of the guys we do reviews with when we review Premier League teams. One of these days we will do a video regarding we'll do possibly this week. We'll do an analysis of how we rate each club signings. Joseph says it's high time United move in for another manager. I can't even imagine what a guy like Hansi Flick can do, the likes of Pogba, Bruno, Rashford, etc. Partly I agree with you, because Hansi Flick is a better manager than Ole. But remember that Hansi Flick has a squad depth. Yeah, has a squad depth. We saw Liverpool being battered last week, last weekend. Liverpool has one of the best teams in Europe. We saw City being battered by Leicester the other day. One of the best teams in Europe. You get? So it's not just on the manager. As a fan base, we agree that there are better managers out there than. I also agree. I'm Ole in, but I agree that there are better managers out there than who? Than Ole. That one I agree. But why bring a manager, not back him, sack him? If we needed a better manager, we wouldn't have sacked Mourinho. We wouldn't have sacked Van Gaal. Remember, we had Van Gaal, we had Mourinho. So until Ole is properly backed, it will be futile for us to move to another manager. Back Ole, let him fail, so that the fan base can also see this guy has failed, kick him out. Otherwise, this wash, rinse, is it where wash, rinse? I can't even remember how the saying goes. It's rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Yes, rinse, repeat, rinse. It is not helping the club. The structure has to be properly done. It has to start from the top. Rich is agreeing with you on that point. Greenwood is including Greenwood in that a lot. Yeah. The other thing is that how many managers do you think would want to come to Man United currently? How many top managers do you think would want to come to Man United currently? Let's be realistic. How many of them? After seeing the gimmicks and the shoddy shambolic work the board has done in the transfer, after Ole pulling off almost a near miracle last season, getting us to 3rd place with a fringe, not a fringe team, but a lean squad. The lean squad Rich is speaking about the defense. Our defense just needs a break in an island somewhere. They go sit down and think about whether they want to be at this club or they don't want to. Yes, that defense needs to go somewhere and sit and think. Yes, because they may not be the best. They may not be the best, but they can do better than what we are seeing now. They can do better. So they really need to think hard. Someone like Harry Maguire needs to be benched for a few games. Maybe he should not play. Maybe should not play. Maybe should not play a few games, 4 or 5 games, benched. And someone is speaking about Poch. I love Poch. I love Poch, and possibly is better than Ole. I can't argue with that. But the other issue with Poch is that we've seen Poch at Spurs at a moment when he had arguably one of the best teams in Europe, but he didn't win a thing, not even a Carabao Cup. Yeah, so he's a 50-50. He could be a risk. I wouldn't complain if Poch was our manager. Yeah, that's another point. I wouldn't complain if Poch was our manager, but it shouldn't be an agenda against Ole. That's my point. Richie saying he's holding out for a big job. I know he was to go to Barcelona, but Barcelona shortchanged him. Took Ronald Koeman. Yeah, Trevor is saying Man United is a great club. Managers will line up there. My take though. I wouldn't disagree with that because yes, I agree. Man United is a great club, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, though we don't act like it. But what my point is, very few managers would want to work in a structure like the one we have. Personally, I feel we are very lucky to have Ole. Because very few managers would have come and do the job he's done after Mourinho. Very few managers would succeed where Mourinho has failed. Very few managers. That one I guarantee you. There are not many that can succeed where Mourinho has failed. There are not many. Personally, I didn't want Mourinho even before we signed him, but the club signed him and I supported him. I knew it would have been chaotic. I knew it was. Bro, Poch took Spurs to the Champions League final. Spurs, that's a big achievement. Remember, Spurs had possibly the second best team in Europe at that time, if not the best. My point is, Poch had every opportunity to win a trophy. I'm not speaking about Champions League. I'm not even speaking about league. Why couldn't Poch even win the FA Cup or the Carabao? I'm not saying Poch is a bad manager. Don't get me wrong. He's possibly top 5 or top 8 managers in the world. Ole may not even be in the top 10. Yeah, one can argue that. You get, but you see now results. You see the results Poch has had. You get, yeah. We see the results. You see the results. If you want to know a top manager, look at what Mourinho did at United. So you want to tell me we shouldn't have fired Mourinho after getting us to second place? That should be an achievement. As Man United, our target is always to win trophies. And that is the target that I put for Ole. Even if people saying that he can't win, why are we supposed to be having a manager who can't win trophies? Yeah. Jikim Andy says, I hope I've pronounced your name well. Jikim Andy. Ole is good, and as he knows where Man United were, he might not be the best, but he knows what Man United need to be. It's just that the resources aren't there. I agree with you. And I keep repeating, if another manager came in, I wouldn't mind another manager. But what I'm trying to say is this agenda does not need to be between Ole and another manager. The agenda needs to be for the club to have a proper structure. That should be the agenda. Why? we need to have a director of football. When we have a director of football, we will have the right manager. You get, we'll have the right players. We'll do the right deals. We'll do deals in a timely manner. We will not be run as a business, but we'll be run as a football club. You get, even if it won't be Ole managing the club. You get, right now Ole is scraping for resources. Yeah, always getting second best players, second rated players. It's a shambles at the club right now. Saying Poch, Joseph is saying Poch is good. Bro, get my point. I've just said Poch could be arguably be best top 5 coach managers in the world, arguably. I'm not disputing about Poch. You get, you're saying one of the best. He took Southampton to the top. To left Southampton, the club went down. I don't deny that. Poch is good. I agree with you. Poch is good. Someone mentioned Hans Flick. Hans Flick is good. All the managers we are mentioning are good. Some of them are even way better than Ole. Yeah, I'm not disputing that. Michael is saying same rotation happening from the board. Coach gets the Champions League, a trophy. Van Gaal, Mourinho, Ole. The next thing you know, they are sacked. That's my point. And Joseph, if you're listening, that's the point. That's the issue at Man United. That's the issue at Man United. Van Gaal got us to. We spent over 100, a net of 100. We got to the Champions League. So instead of building from there, the manager was not backed. We sacked Van Gaal. Of course, there were other issues, not exclusively to not being backed. The second one was Mourinho came in. We won the Europa League. We won the Carabao. We won the Community Shield. The next season, we got back to Champions League. Wasn't backed. He still managed to finish second with us. You get, Ole came in, got a discouraged team, a team that needed clearing out, players that didn't have the right mentality, cleared them out. We expected that as the players were going out, other players the replacement will be done properly. We've never replaced Lukaku. You get, someone was saying we replaced Lukaku with Martial. Who told you we replaced Lukaku with Martial? Martial was with us even before we bought Lukaku. We've never replaced Lukaku. We've never replaced Ander Herrera. We didn't replace Fellaini. You get, we left Smalling go, didn't replace. We left Sanchez go, didn't replace. Just to mention but a few. You get, now all the blame and all the dirt will be channeled towards who? Towards Ole. Jikim Andy again saying the board has always been the problem, because since Van Gaal, the board backs them up in the first season, but after that forgets them. The same for Mourinho and Solskjaer. Now, if you go back to Ferguson's final seasons, you realize that trend did not start with even Moyes. The trend started with Ferguson. Some of you may not remember. But we were in for Benzema. Do you remember that? Do you guys remember? We were in for Benzema. The evening before, Real got him. We couldn't even compete for Benzema. We were in for Gareth Bale. We were in for Modric. Do you guys remember? We were in for all those players, but the manager was not properly backed, and those players went. We were in for Gaetan. We are in for this Dutch midfielder who used to play for Inter. Keep forgetting his name. Sorry, I'm bad with names. You get, Ferguson would give excuses that, oh, there's no value in the market. We were like, what value are you talking about? We know there's value in the market. At that time, we didn't really understand that how the club was properly run. Personally, I admit, I didn't really understand how the club was properly run. But we had Ferguson, so we were still able to win trophies, get to Champions League finals, and it was pepper on cracks here and there. But when Ferguson left, that's when we knew that things were not so well run. Um, and none of Michael says, and none of them gets back at all. Apparently, when they get a list and player they bring, yes, the same thing I was saying. You ask for this, you are not given that. Then they leave it late till towards the end of the transfer. They give you something you didn't ask for, something you don't want. If you look at Ole's body language, I watched Ole speak before, was it the Brighton game? The man was totally discouraged. The man was totally discouraged. And so I knew that Brighton game would be very tough. It's only until, usually I make predictions on Facebook. I say, this is what I expect for the game today. But it is only until the Spurs game, which shocked me, that I made a prediction. The first 4 games of the season, I didn't make predictions. Yeah, because I knew the team would struggle. I knew it would be a hard game against Spurs, but I didn't know it would be worse than I had thought. Yes, Michael is saying we've never replaced Herrera and Fellaini. Joseph is saying the problem with Man United is that people at the top are more business-minded than football-minded. You need to get in a director of football, perhaps a club legend who understands the club. You see, now when we brought Ole, we brought someone with Man United DNA. We didn't just bring in a manager. We brought an ex-player, a legend, because not all ex-players are legends, and we brought in someone who was a Man United fan, who would do anything to make sure United. You saw Evra the other day almost weeping for the club. Gary Neville was trying to hold himself together, but was very angry. Rio Ferdinand is trying to be politically correct a bit, but inside, I know it's burning. These players that love the club are coming out to speak against what is happening at the club. You get? So, as you've said, you're spot on that, Joseph. Look at the clubs around us that are doing well. Chelsea have a director of football, if not Arsenal have Edu. Yeah, Liverpool, same. Spurs have what's his name? It was done a very good job. Who's really back to Mourinho. Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, PSG, name but a few, are all backing. All have a proper structure. It's the other day that one of the board members from is it Espanyol was doing an interview on TV, and he was saying he's really shocked that Man United does not have a director of football. He was shocked that Man United does not. All right, now let me go to the next topic that I had lined up before I take the next comment. What next for Man United? How does United get back to winning? How to get top 4? Is Ole's job at risk? These are questions that we now need to ask ourselves seriously. Of course, the top agenda should be pushing for a change at the top of the club. We need to push for that change. This board has to change. We will push till the board changes. We need a director of football. It has to start there. Even if the board does not get sacked, we need the board to focus on business and allow the director of football to focus on football matters. We can't keep having people who have no idea what football is running football. I was listening to one of the analysis the other day, and somebody was saying that the board of Ed Woodward, Judge, and another top employee at United who had the same university. I think it was Brighton University. I don't know how. And we've had these people for almost 7 or 8 years. How did we even get there? Then the answer comes up. The answer comes when we realize that it is because they make the club money. They make money for to the owners. So the owners also, as long as money comes in, as long as dividends come, just keep the club somewhere between Europa League and Champions League. Let it not go below that. As long as we are there, even if we are not winning something, money will always come. Someone was saying the other day that even a few days ago, Edudu had managed to get us another sponsorship deal. You see why we can't progress? Because it's become business. During transfer season, fans were angry at the club, and the club was busy marketing the third kit. And you're like, busy marketing subscription deals. And you're like, what is going on in this club? If you get us the right things, if you get us the right players, if you have the right structure, you won't need to market. That is just how business works. You won't need to market. Of course, eventually you need to market. Let me not say you won't need, but you won't need to do it the way the club is doing it. You get? Now, how do we approach the season from here? This is my radical opinion about the season. I shared it on Rich Sport yesterday. For us to be able to get top four, which should not be, we shouldn't be expecting anything less than top four for the club. For us to be able to get there, we have first, as we've said, to get a structure, proper structure. The director of football needs to come in. And the director of football does not depend on window closing or opening. That needs to, but to save this season, this is what we need to do. My opinion would be we need to forfeit certain competitions. The Carabao Cups, the FA Cups, we need to forfeit those. Because I don't want to see a tired team at the end of the season again. A team that is so glad to have gotten to the end of the season. You get? I don't want to see team players getting weird injuries that we don't even understand how they got them. Yeah, the Twanzibes, the Pogba injuries, the Martial's injuries. They are not injuries that they got on the pitch. You're wondering, how do they get those injuries? Why? Because they don't get enough rest. They don't get enough recovery. Before you recover, there's the next game and the next game and the next game and the next game. You get the Luke Shaw's injury. It was because of playing too much. You get? Yeah. We need to forfeit. We need to focus on the league and the Champions League for this season. Yeah, that would be my opinion. Even the Brighton game, right now, I feel that the Carabao game against Brighton, we should have just put in the under-23s to play so that this team keeps fresh for a long time. For the next few games, we will still struggle to be on and off, but I know once the team gets the rhythm, we'll get back to winning ways. We need to try and win as many games as possible in the league. Forget about the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. That's my opinion. If we are to get to top four, get back to top four. Because look around us. Look around us. Arsenal have strengthened. Tottenham have strengthened. Everton have strengthened. Leicester have strengthened. They are all going for that top four. Because Champions League money is better than these other competitions. Everyone is going for that top four. You get? Chelsea have strengthened, whom I know will struggle because of that. They don't have a defense, and they've also signed too many players. Integrating them, and Lampard is still a bit of a novice when it comes to managerial duties. I think he's even worse than you, Chelsea fans. I saw Chelsea fans speaking about Ole. Lampard is worse than Ole. Lampard is worse than Ole. Only that your club structure is better, so it hides a lot of problems. But let me tell you, if our club structure was better, Lampard would get sacked before Ole. That one I tell you. You get? Yeah. Arsenal have Where had we? This one we had spoken about. Michael says, Joseph, I think Ole can be a very good director of football if pushed up the manager as we get a manager like Poch. Yeah, that's another option. But imagine, imagine you have someone who was a former manager who possibly is seen as a failure being your boss, because the director of football is technically the manager's boss. It might not really work so well. Yeah, but I get the point. The point is we need to get someone like Ole, if not Ole, who can be our director of football. Let me see. Where was I? Yes. Michael again saying most people ask why we are playing lazily. It's a mentality thing, and it has trickled down to the players because I'm sure indoors they see Ole frustrated. And it's kind of yes, that's another reason why the players are not playing so well right now. Yeah, that's another reason. They gave their all to get us where we were at the end of the season at the end of last season. But the club did not respond the way the club should have responded. And some of these players are fans. The Rashfords, the Lingards, the Mason Greenwoods, they're first fans before they're players. They have they have the Man United DNA. They have the Man United DNA in them. Yeah, I agree. The rich sport, the owners' interests do not align with the fans. I agree with that. It's all about money for them. That's rich sport. Saying the interest of the owners is not aligned. Our owners know nothing about football, and I'm not saying you must have owners that know football, but they know nothing about football, and then now they went and appointed people who have no interest in football. This has to change. Do you think Glazer would sell the team to Qatari royal family? The Qatari royal family reminds me of the Newcastle takeover. We know how that went. Uh, uh, the FA allegedly could not allow that deal to go on because of some. Okay, sorry, I'm confusing Qatari and Saudi. Sorry, the Newcastle deal was about the Saudi. Sorry, I forgot. I've confused that. For the Qatari, as long as they don't have a bad history of the issues that were raised by FA, possibly it can happen. Personally, I'm really praying that someday these people can allow someone else to buy the club, because I think it's long overdue. Yeah, I think it's something that can happen, but the chances are very slim, right? Currently, because the club is making them money. Imagine you bought a club on debt, and it's making you billions every year. Would you sell that business? You bought a business on debt, and makes you millions every year. Would you sell that business? I don't think anyone would do. And do you think it will be good if they do? The Qataris, I see the Arab owners at City doing well, the ones at PSG doing well. There's another club that has Arab owners that are doing well. Which other club? There's another club. As if they can align their ambitions with the club, with the fans, I don't see why not. I don't see why you should lock them out if the ambitions can be aligned with the fans. But if they are coming to be another Glazers, no. If they're coming to make sure United dominate both Europe and domestically, then yes, I would want to see such a thing happen. I think as a fan base, we've been so frustrated that anything better than Glazers will work. Anything better than Glazers. Is it the right? If the price is right, I'm sure yes, Rich is responding to. But you see now, the Glazers must want to sell, and there must be a buyer. at this moment, the Glazers are not willing to sell. The Glazers are not willing to sell, and there's no buy. Yeah. Someone is saying, but at the current economic state, the price is at 4 billion. Yes, no one. There was rumor that someone wanted to buy, but the Glazers overpriced. If I had 4 billion, I would give the Glazers 4 billion right now. Tell them, my guys, you are killing this club. You are killing our passion. You are killing the fan base. You are killing your clients. You get, you are a business that is killing its clients. We are the clients, and the business owners are killing us. Yeah, 4 billion is ridiculous. I agree with that, Michael. Michael also saying, I don't think anyone would be willing to step in and buy the club. There are people who want, but the price is ridiculous, and the Glazers are not willing to sell. Just as you say, Manchester is so widely supported and commercially successful that owners prepare to invest would make a huge difference. You see now, the owners we have not invested anything in the club. Yeah. As a matter of fact, they've taken out money from the club and have not invested. They've taken out money in terms of dividends and have not invested. There was a survey that was shown the other day that out of how many clubs? I can't remember how many clubs there were. It was only Man United that the owners had taken money out from. The other owners had invested. Whatever dividends they got, they reinvested into the clubs. But our owners take dividends and don't reinvest their money into the club. That is the state we are in. Crazy valuation, Rich says, crazy valuation. Tough run of fixtures. Yes, tough run of fixtures. I saw somewhere we have PSG, we have Arsenal, we have Chelsea, and then there's Spurs in between. And I think we could have Leipzig also. Yeah, that's why I keep saying we need to forfeit these other competitions. They're not helping us. The Carabao Cups, the FA Cups, they're not good for us this season. Yeah, they're not good for us this season. Knowing Ole, you'd want to compete for everything. But I would say let the under-23s play those competitions. If they progress, well and good. We will still, if they progress to a level where we get to a semi-final, or you get in the semi-finals, it's okay to play the first team. But in these other stages, play the under-23s. Like Ferguson used to do. Ferguson was smart. It's possibly the reason why he didn't win so many Carabao Cups and other competitions is because when those competitions would come, you would see under-23s, most of them play. Yeah. Yeah. You get. Thanks, man. Thanks for the support. If you are watching me and you've not subscribed to the channel. Hit the like button. Share this content with others in your chat groups. Share the content. Follow me on Twitter at Hansel. Follow me on Instagram at Hansel, and send me a friend request on Facebook. We have a Man United Bonafide page also on Facebook that you can like. For more discussions, I'm usually on Twitter. We have a Man United group on WhatsApp, which anyone willing to be added can always be added. Just drop me a comment there after the stream is over, and I'll check it out and I'll add you. Yeah. Michael is saying, just read somewhere that Cavani asked if he was going to be available for Tottenham game. Yeah, that is our board, my friend. That is our board. What do you think the indoor rumble that happened between Maguire and Bruno. Bruno calling out Maguire, saying he's not a true captain and he should have stood up for Martial. I don't know whether this happened or not. It's just rumor circulating around WhatsApp groups and Twitter mostly. Usually, when this happens, I think it's a good thing for the team. Yeah, I've played in teams. I've managed. I've coached a team. I've managed a team, and I know it means that these players want to do better now. You get. Maguire's response to Martial's situation was just shocking. Don't even want to get there. I've been a defender of Maguire, saying that he needs to be given more time to show his leadership skills. But every time it gets worse. Yeah, it gets worse. It's a trend. It gets worse. Yeah, let those who can fight for the. When Bruno had just gotten to Manchester, he had a spat with Guardiola on the touchline. I don't know if you guys remember. You get. those are you get. Those are the players we need. Players with such mentality. Guardiola had done something. I think he delayed the play, and Bruno didn't spare him. I'm wondering if that was Maguire, would he have done that? You get? Yeah, we need more players like Bruno. I had forgotten to say this. I see a little bit of Bruno in Telles. I see a little bit of Bruno in Telles. He may not be at the level of Bruno, but he looks like someone, because I even see how he did his video and stuff. He looks to me like someone who would fight for the team. Those are the players we need. Yeah. Michael is going on saying then Maguire stepped in, then they both got subbed. Yes, I would have subbed. What's his name? Maguire, and I've left Matic and Bruno. Actually, I was so shocked when the second half began, and I saw Bruno was not back for whatever reason. Whether there was a confrontation in the dressing room, Bruno shouldn't have been put on the bench. The person who should have been put on the bench in that midfield should have been Pogba. Yeah, should have been Pogba. Then Maguire should have been subbed off. So the next thing that I want to say, as we are forgetting, as we are not forgetting, as we are finishing, is that I think the person who is most at risk at Man United currently is Ole. Personally, after the Spurs game, I wouldn't have been shocked if Ole had resigned, because I had a feeling that the Spurs loss was not just about performance on the pitch, but it was more to do also with performance off the pitch. There's been so much negativity. Even yesterday, Sergio Romero's wife was hitting back at the club, and I'm like, we've gotten to a point where even players' wives are now speaking against the club. It's that serious and it's that bad. Both off the pitch, in the boardroom, and on the pitch. Everywhere, it's not looking good for Man United. But this is what I still expect. And I expect us to beat Newcastle. I expect us to beat PSG. I expect us to beat, I'm not saying we will, I'm saying I expect us to beat Leipzig. Because we are Man United. We are the biggest club in the world. It is time we've started acting like it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like the content. Don't forget to share the content. It's been an amazing talk with you. I'll do another video on how to integrate in a day or two, on how to integrate the new players into the squad. Thanks for you to you for watch. Thanks for watching. Sorry, I'm mixing myself up. Thanks for watching. I think now it's low sugar. Thanks for watching. Keep up the conversation. Keep up the hashtag Glazers out, Woodward out, till they do something. Even if they don't get out, let it get to them. But we need to do something about this club. This club needs to be structured, and need to honor a comment here. Michael Wanyama saying Tele sounds like a leader from his press conference, talking about wanting to win and showing what he's all about. We actually need leaders the backline. I know Tele's will be commanding. Yes, this is one other thing that I fail to understand about Maguire. If your backline is not working, who is commanding the backline? You are the captain. Who is commanding the backline? I never see Maguire commanding the backline. You get? I see Bruno coming from somewhere from the midfield, coming to tell players, hey, get on to that guy. Make sure that guy is marked. Make sure this is done. Our center backs don't speak. Our goalkeeper does not speak, and you're wondering, how are we going to win see out games, especially games where we are hanging on, if these people don't speak? All right, it's time we change. It has to start from the top. The board needs to change. We need to get a director of football. We need to get a director of football. The manager needs to change because Ole also has some issues. His infield managing sometimes is not very good. That needs to change. The players need to step up. Whoever is not willing to step up in the next game, I'll be very happy to see Pogba and Maguire on the bench. I'm a huge fan of Pogba, but if this club has to move on, we need to be ruthless. We need to be ruthless. We need to be willing to bench anyone. You get? Ferguson would bench Ronaldo. Ferguson would bench Rooney. Ferguson would bench Scholes. Giggs, they would all be benched. You need to bench players who think that their places are sealed, signed and sealed. We need to bench them so that they can know. You get? When we benched, the player we recently benched, who was it? Luke Shaw. We benched Luke Shaw last season for a few games when Brandon Williams was coming through. The next few games, the man was a changed man. We need to get them back to the very top. With this team, I am sure my target for them is not less than third place. Not less than third place. I said this last season. There are two signings we missed on. Had we signed Sancho and a defender, or Sancho and a CDM, I would have expected this team to win the league. But because we didn't sign Sancho, we didn't sign the center back and the CDM. If we had done proper signings, I would have expected this team to win the league. You get? I'll make another prediction after the January transfer is done. But to me, I still expect this team to get third place. Teams will struggle. Some of these teams that are winning currently, the Aston Villas, the Evertons, I guarantee you they will struggle. We are struggling not just majorly because of the board, but also because we didn't have a preseason. Ole has not had time to work with this team properly, prepare for the season. But in the next few matches, we will see improvement. That one I know. We'll see improvement. All right. Thank you for watching. Allow me to go. See you next time.